So I have 55 points, 30-25 in this matchup. Now, again, we always want to preface this with Mother Nature could change things, so you got to keep checking back right up until game time. But for me, 55 points, higher scoring game than you might imagine. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Deep passes by both quarterbacks are going to shape this one.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty, because you ran your simulations for this game with Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting some opportunities. He's questionable for Sunday, but if we get word that he is fully cleared and operating as a lead back, what would that do to your projection?
So what happens is it actually drives the number of points down. Why? Because think about it. When you have more rushing opportunities, it slows the clock down. When you don't throw as often, you're going to eat up more of that clock. And we saw last time the Bills did exactly 0 blitzing of Patrick Mahomes, which meant a ton of opportunities for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to rush the ball. So in this case, it would actually drive the score down. So that would be under that 53 that we talked about before.
All right, let's move on to the NFC title game. Will the Bucs and Packers combined score be higher or lower than 51 total points, and who wins?
We're having another one with a lot of points in this one. The interesting part here is that I definitely think that the big, deep balls from both quarterbacks, those shape it again. So it's kind of the same note here. But 28-24, a 4-point win for the Packers. The deep passing, it is going to be a key. Davante Adams is going to be woken up, and so is Mike Evans. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, man. All right, now with Antonio Brown out, Sarah Walsh told us that the other wideouts will really be asked to step up. But what does his absence do to your projection for Rob Gronkowski?
Ooh, look for Gronk in the slot. So it drove his projection up to 2 more receptions, to 5. That's a ridiculously high number if you think about maybe it was like 2 to 2.5 before. Remember, everything's fractional because a lot of different simulations means a lot of different things happen. So this is a huge uptick to Brady's tried and true receiver. I know he's a tight end, but he's a receiver in this case. And again, he's been super useful on those deep passes too. So remember, more receptions, more receiving yards, and the touchdown happens in 15% more of the simulations when without Antonio Brown.
Cynthia always gives us the number and tells us why. I love it. We'll see you in a bit more for more game projections. For an even closer look, though, at that Bucs-Packers game, here's PFF's George Tahuri.
Could you ask for anything better than the 2 best quarterbacks in football battling it out in the snow for the right to go to the Super Bowl? The answer is definitively no. Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, PFF's highest and second highest graded quarterbacks this season, with weapons galore and stars on the defensive side of the ball. The difference between these two is likely to be only a play or 2. A far cry from the first matchup when the Bucs stunned Rodgers and company 38-10 in Tampa. In that game, the Bucs blitzed Rodgers 21 times, the most of any defense this season, and the results were very un-Rodgers-like. He took 3 sacks against the Tampa Bay Blitz, but has not taken a single sack versus the Blitz since that game. So expect this Green Bay offense to look a heck of a lot different from the one that didn't really show up in Tampa. Rodgers will be ready to implement a quick passing game should the Bucs send more blitzes. In his first matchup, his average time to throw was 3 seconds, but on the season, he sits at 2.7, which is his quickest time to throw in his entire career. One more key for the Packers, who will be without PFF's highest graded pass blocking left tackle in David Bakhtiari, will be running play action early and often. Rodgers has 22 touchdown passes off play action and 0 interceptions. He had just 4 play action touchdowns all of last season. Running play action will give Rodgers the extra half second he needs to find the highest graded wide receiver on the planet, Davante Adams. For the Bucs to keep up, they are likely going to need better offensive production than they had in New Orleans last Sunday. While the Bucs picked up 4 turnovers against Breeze and the Saints, it would not be wise to rely on Aaron Rodgers to throw picks in Lambeau. This means throwing the ball downfield and doing so on early downs with Tom Brady. Brady dropped back to pass on just 21 of 51 early down plays against the Saints, the lowest rate of any quarterback in the divisional round. The 43-year-old has shown 0 signs of age so far. He leads the NFL in completions and passing yards on throws that travel 20 or more yards downfield. He just needs the chance to take those shots. There might be a little snow on the ground, and the temperature, well, it's going to be below freezing. So the Packers have the elements, the best quarterback and wide receiver in the NFL, and a 61% chance to travel to Tampa to play for a Super Bowl in the Bucs' own house.
All right, let's do this. Let's get to some game picks as we bring back David and TD. All right, we heard a little extra analysis there. He says that the Packers have a little better percentage chance to win there. But TD, what's your prediction? Who wins this?
Yeah, he's right. I'm going with the Packers here, 27-23 over the Bucs. And two reasons why. Number one, I talked about it in the A block. The sense of urgency for the Packers, the players, and Rodgers right now realizing this might be his last shot at winning a Super Bowl. I think that's going to play big in this game, and he's going up against Tom Brady, obviously. I think number two is, for me, I don't think that the Bucs can sort of get create those turnovers like they did last time for their offense to get them going, and that's how they essentially beat you. Create those turnovers and get things moving that way. I don't think the Packers will turn the ball over this game.
Yeah, I agree with TD. It's 31-28 is how I see it with the Packers winning this football game. They were out to a 10-0 lead when they played Tampa Bay back in Week 6. They ended up having a couple turnovers, and that just turned the tide of the game, and then Tampa Bay went on to score a bunch of points. I think it's a little bit different. That stat that we just showed in that last segment was money, because 22 touchdowns, no interceptions when Aaron Rodgers utilizes play action. That's the secret to this game. They have to stay in that mode. They were in a drop-back pass mode a little bit, later in that second quarter of that game, the first time they played, and it ended up being a bad thing because they got some pressure. Aaron threw some bad balls. You can't do that against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Too fast, too good on the back end. Run the football, stick with it, use that play action. That'll take you all the way to the Super Bowl.
All right, playing the role of James Jones opposite, though, today would be me. I can't believe I'm the only one. Look, I'm so surprised I dropped my pen. That I'm the only one not taking the Packers here. I've actually got the Bucs 32-28. It'll be a close one, as you can see by my score there. Listen, guys, back in Week 1, I was like, there's no way Brady goes into Tampa first season, leads them to a Super Bowl. Here we are, championship weekend, still talking about Tom Brady. So I've learned not to pick against him. All right, guys, thanks. After the break, we have some amazing news for anyone who likes high-scoring games in the NFL. It's our Championship Sunday, more game picks and score predictions, and all I can say is this if you're a scoreboard operator. Get loose, because you're about to have a very busy day. Welcome to NFL Total Access. I'm MJ Acosta-Ruiz. About 55 hours from right now, we will know which two of the four teams behind me here will be heading to Super Bowl 55. We're so close, you can almost taste it. Terrell Davis, David Carr, and Cynthia Freeland are joining me tonight. We've got our predictions for each game's winners, plus the very first Daniel Jeremiah mock draft of the year. But we'll start with who will be on the field for Championship Sunday. Who's in and who's out? For that, we welcome in our NFL insider, Tom Pelissero. Tom, we know now that Patrick Mahomes is out of that concussion protocol. It has been a long week for the Chiefs QB.
It has, MJ, but now we know Patrick Mahomes officially in for Sunday's AFC title game against the Bills after passing through that 5-step concussion protocol. He's been cleared by an independent neurologist. Mahomes said today he has not had any symptoms. Also said that toe that he banged up last week is feeling a lot better. He will start against the Bills. Mahomes said, I'll be able to go out there and be myself. Not as good a news for Bucs wide receiver Antonio Brown. He is out for the NFC title game against the Packers because of his injured knee. Coach Bruce Arians said they didn't want to put AB on a plane, risk that thing swelling up. He just wasn't as close as they had hoped, so they'll leave Brown at home this week and get him ready for a potential appearance in the Super Bowl, MJ.
All right, that's the players, but we're also getting some coaching news. What's the latest on hirings and interviews for the day, Tom?
MJ, the Bears have a new defensive coordinator. It is Sean Desai, who is their safeties coach over the past couple of years. Desai replaces Chuck Pagano, who retired after last season. Desai also believed to be the first coach of Indian descent to hold an NFL coordinator role. Meanwhile, there's only one open NFL head coaching search, and the Houston Texans conducted 2 interviews today, one with the former Lions and Colts coach Jim Caldwell, and one with longtime NFL quarterback Josh McCown. Now, McCown is still under contract to the Texans as a player for 2021. He's always had coaching aspirations. He intends to do that someday, but his plan for the next few years has been to watch his sons play high school football. Obviously, if he takes this job, that plan would change. MJ?
Tom, these coaching vacancies and the whole carousel takes a different twist every time that we speak to you. Thanks so much. All right, we've been waiting all week for that good news that Tom just mentioned about Patrick Mahomes. Here's what the reigning Super Bowl MVP had to say about his health.
I actually just got out of the protocol. The week has just been a bunch of testing, a bunch of different things just to make sure that I'm good to go and there's no lingering effects and anything like that. But everything's been good, and I went through what all the 3-4 different doctors have said, and everything's looked well, and I'm out of it now.
All right, that grin at the end there as we welcome in a big hello to Terrell Davis and David.